We're continuing to follow the latest out of Indianapolis after a mass shooting at a FedEx facility. Thanks for choosing us at noon. I'm Chanel Porter. You have just heard from the Indianapolis deputy chief after a press conference that was held just a few hours ago. Authorities say the suspected shooter did take his own life, and law enforcement do not believe there is an active threat. 13 people were shot in the incident, 8 people were killed, and 5 were hospitalized with injuries. ABC's Andrew Demurst has the latest on the investigation and how President Biden is responding to the recent surge in mass shootings.
Another mass shooting in America overnight.
Caller heard 10 shots from near the front of the entrance.
Authorities say 8 people were shot and killed and several others injured at a FedEx ground warehouse in Indianapolis near the airport. Just before 11 p.m. last night, police racing to the scene after reports of shots fired.
There's suspect description: shooter, short white male wearing a hat, has a machine gun currently in front of the building.
The suspect took his life very shortly before officers actually entered the facility.
When authorities arrived, they found multiple victims inside and outside the shipping center. Around 100 workers were on duty at the time. Officials say the massacre was over in just minutes. An internal briefing from the Department of Homeland Security says it's the second largest FedEx Express hub in the world.
We heard 3 more shots, and then my buddy Levi saw someone running out of the building, and then more shots went off.
This morning, President Joe Biden briefed on the situation. This latest tragedy comes less than a month since 10 people were gunned down at a grocery store in Colorado and 8 people were killed at several Asian spas in the Atlanta area. It also comes just a week after President Biden took aim at gun control through executive power to address the plague of gun violence tearing through American cities. And police say the gunman died by suicide. Law enforcement officials tell ABC News there is no indication that this was a terror attack. Meanwhile, investigators are combing through evidence to figure out if this was an act of workplace violence, but so far a motive has not yet been determined. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
In a developing story out of Cooper County, investigators are working to identify human remains found west of Boonville. The sheriff's office posted about the find on Facebook last night. Highway Patrol troopers and the coroner's office helped at the scene, which was in rural areas. We're told more information is expected to be released after an autopsy is done. Looking at vaccines, the vaccine clinic is currently underway at Faurot Field, and vaccination spots could open up. At last checked, no vaccine appointments are available for today's clinic. However, spots could open up, so keep an eye out on MU Healthcare's website. While there isn't much availability today, there are over 800 appointments open for tomorrow. You do need to sign up for an appointment. However, that can be done the same day as a vaccination. Today's event is the second of 3 days of clinics at Faurot Field, with MU Healthcare opening up nearly 7,000 appointments over that time span. Those who get vaccinated today will return to Faurot Field in 21 days for their second dose. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention has scheduled another emergency meeting about Johnson & Johnson. The virtual meeting is set for a week from today. The CDC Advisory Committee wanted more time for the vaccine's pause in order to look over more evidence. On Tuesday, the health officials recommended pausing the use of Johnson & Johnson's coronavirus vaccine after 6 women suffered blood clots. Within the last 24 hours, 774 new coronavirus cases were reported in Missouri. 466 of those were from PCR tests and 308 were from antigen tests. Those additions bring the pandemic total to more than 495,000. 4 Missouri residents have lost their lives to the virus in the last day. The state's positivity rate has slightly increased to now 5%. Health officials say a little more than 33% of Missouri's population has received at least 1 dose of the coronavirus vaccine. Remember, you can always find our full COVID-19 coverage, including vaccine information for where you live, by going to our website, abc17news.com. You can also get updates directly to your phone by downloading the ABC 17 News app.